let you know that this is Shalom,
I'm Dylan.
and we are just doing our project on pretty much background information. I'm a woman coming into a domestic violence agency slash shelter, and Dylan is here to help me as far as some motivational interviewing and giving me some resources as far as like what are my options and how ready I am to leave my abuser.
Trying to motivate her to get to the point where she's kind of in the middle of not knowing where she wants to go, but trying to get that motivation going to be able to do what she needs to and be able to bring a plan for herself. So the big question is how are you using the motivational skills to get her motivated, and how open we are in letting her take control.
Absolutely, so enjoy!
Hey, how's it going?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
My name's Dylan. I'm a counselor here at the counseling center on the corner. So tell me what's going on. What seems to be going on with you?
Well, I'm here because, as you can tell, I have some injuries from my husband,
I see that.
and I'm just tired. I'm tired of it, and I know I need help, but I don't know what to do.
Absolutely. So we can see what we can do from here. So what's going on with how's your relationship with your husband? What else has been going on?
Well, we have been married for about 10 years. This used to not always be like this. I remember when we first got married, things were fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, as he increased his drinking, it's just every time he drinks, he turns into a different person. So as his drinking increased, also he got more violent with me. And obviously, like, this is not the first time this has happened. So I just need to know my options and like how I can move forward.
Absolutely. Where are you living at right now?
Our house, but I'm currently in the shelter that works with you guys with all three of my kids.
Okay, so you and your kids are at the shelter right now.
Yeah.
A house. Which neighborhood is it in? Are you have neighbors? Is it out in where is it at?
The shelter?
Your house.
Oh, my house is out like we live out in the country, about an hour from here.
Really?
Yeah.
It sounds like a very long distance. Do you have any friends or anything else that are out there? Do you have any family in the area?
No, we actually used to live downtown, and then he said that, you know, the traffic and everything else was just too much. And he just wanted our kids to grow up in the farm, in the fields, which is fine. I mean, I do love it out there, but I just feel so alone all the time.
Well, absolutely. It's a great area to be able to raise a family out in that area, and it would be nice to do that, but it doesn't also negate the feelings that you're feeling. You feel isolated. You feel alone. There's not any kind of social interactions going on.
No.
So what happened in the lead up to the injuries right now?
Well, he had been drinking, and I told him, you know, I was tired of it, and I attempted to leave, but he ended up locking us in the bathroom, which is a really scary situation for my children because now they kind of are involved. And you know, this was after he hit me several times in front of them, so DSS is involved.
Right.
And finally, one of them grabbed my cell phone and called 911, and that's how we were able to get help.
I'm glad you were able to get help. That was really brave of your kids, and it was really brave of you to be able to come here today and to be able to do all this. So it sounds like there's a lot of stuff going on. Do you mind if we go over a questionnaire that you filled out earlier that I got from the secretary up front?
That's fine.
Okay. So I'm seeing here, again, you talked about the physical punches and the bruises before. How long has that been going on?
That probably started during our second year in marriage. When after I had my second kid, I remembered he broke my ribs. But of course, he said that I fell off a ladder while I was fainting, and that's how I was able to get help. Because another social worker had already talked to me because she had some suspicions, but I couldn't say anything. I had a little baby,
Right.
and I just couldn't say anything.
And you were trying to make sure everything was okay at that point. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. You were trying to assess the situation and what was the best at the time for it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. From what it sounds like to me, there's a big cycle of abuse going on here. Have you seen or heard about the cycle of abuse before?
I think I've seen it on some bulletin boards, but never really paid attention.
Well, I got a copy right here if you want to look over it.
Okay.
It starts off with everything seems to be going fine and calm, and correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm placing everything, but it seemed like everything was okay for a little bit when y'all first were together.
Yeah.
When y'all were, does that sound right?
Yeah, there was nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong, but was there anything that seemed to lead up to the first incident of abuse or when he started to do all this sort of stuff?
The first time that he hit me, after he hit me, he said that he had a very stressful day at work, and because dinner wasn't done right, he just felt even more frustrated, so that's the first time he smacked me. But he apologized after that one, and I believed him. I mean, he's my husband. Like, I believed him, and yeah, shortly after we had our first son.
Well, that's understandable too, and of course everybody has bad days, and it's no problem to think about people having some frustrations going on, but there was that big, so that's what we see here. You see that tension, and he has a bad day, and things must not be going right. You're not thinking anything of it. Most people don't have to think about if your husband's going to be hitting you or worry about getting hurt or anything like that. You go as you normally do. Then the incident happens, and then right afterwards he was sorry about it, and it would never happen again. And it's understandable to think that because, again, like you said, you love him, you care about him, and there's a lot of stuff that he provides for you too. But it goes right back into the period of calm, and you see the cycle uncontrollably go and go. I'm assuming that's not the only time that's happened. It's happened repeatedly.
No, that's, like I said, the first incident was when we were married about 2 years in, and then ever since then, it seems like the calm period gets shorter and shorter.
And that's what you see a lot of times too. The apologies get shorter, and a lot of times, sometimes we see, especially when we're looking at this power and control wheel. Specifically, we see the coercion and threats to where dinner needs to be made on time. Oh, if only you did this, it wouldn't happen. If this were to be right, it wouldn't be such a fuck up. Things like that. You also see the isolation. You're living out in the middle of nowhere. You don't have any contact with friends or family going on.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing that the children are scared now too, and that's a tactic that a lot of people suffering from domestic violence see, is that you're trying to take care of your kids. You just had your first son when that happened, and you're just trying to make sure that they're okay for it.
I did try to leave one time, and he said that if I ever left, that he would take my child. So
And that's
I decided to stay.
and that's understandable. You don't want to see your kids be taken away, but it's another tool for him to use to be able to make sure you're staying there and not doing anything. So I want to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you're staying where you are, you want to go back to him, to 10, you want to leave him, you're trying to divorce him, you don't want anything else with him. How prepared are you to make that kind of change?
I would say at a 6 because
Why not a 3 or a 4?
like I said, this isn't the first time that I've tried to leave, but I just know that I need to do this.
Absolutely.
But it's hard.
It is hard. It's hard to be able to make that kind of decision. Like you said, you don't know what to do. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So, say a miracle happened overnight that you were at the shelter, and by some like chance or God's doing, all your problems are solved. What would that look like?
If a miracle happened tonight, I would be living in a safe place, somewhere near my family. My friends would talk to me again. My husband probably wouldn't be my husband anymore, and he wouldn't hurt us.
And that's some of the things that we can work on here. So, after this, we can set up for your next appointment. We can work on a plan. You're okay right now in the shelter. All the information's been expunged, and he can't find you there. On our next visit, we can work on what we can do specifically to help get you to that point to where it's not a miracle anymore. It's something that you can do, and you can do this. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shalom, for coming here. Well, I'll see you next week, okay?
Thank you.
No problem.